Hey you guys, and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, welcome. For today's video, I am going to be talking about what is in my freelance kit, and then just kind of some tips and tricks on how you can build your freelance kit if you're a newer artist, or if you just need a little bit of help in that department, you need some inspiration. I know when I started, I definitely was just so lost on how to even start my kit. Like, not even just having the money to do it, but just not even knowing where to start. Like, I was just so lost. So I thought I would do this video. I kind of want to incorporate like more makeup artistry videos, like for makeup artists, beginner makeup artists, people who are just starting out, because girl or boy, I know the struggle. Trust me, it was so hard for me to just kind of like just start doing it. I thought that I would just kind of start doing not really like a series, but throwing some videos here and there just to help my peeps out. So let's just go ahead and jump into the video. First things first, let me just say that a lot of stuff that I have like tool-wise, I ordered on Amazon. Also, a lot of the stuff I've had for quite a while. So I don't know if I can find the exact item on Amazon, but I will do my best to find like as much as I can find in list below. What I'm gonna kind of be doing is just kind of going over what I have, and then just kind of like the tips that I picked up from like starting and just stuff like that. So I'll kind of throw things in here and there. First things first, I actually started doing it on the side. So I was working full-time. I worked in the medical field. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned that before in my channel. So I went from the hair industry to the medical field. Like, I just was like bouncing around in my career. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I wanted to do makeup, but I didn't know how to start, and I never had like the push to start. So I started working in the medical field. It was a good job. I liked it. I loved the people, and you know, there's nothing wrong with it. It just wasn't for me. Like, I knew eventually I wanted to do makeup. I just didn't know how to start. So one day my husband was like, why don't you start freelancing? Like, just do it on the side. I was working like 40 plus hours a week. So I was working full time. I worked in the city. I didn't have a lot of free time, especially during the week. So I thought, you know what? Freelancing is perfect because I could do it on the weekends. Most people, when they need their makeup done, they don't really need their makeup done during the week. If they do, you know, we'll just like face that problem when it happens. Basically, I started my day very early. I started at like 5:30 in the morning. I wouldn't get home until like 6 o'clock most nights. So I was like, you know what, let me just start freelancing. At least this gives me like the jump I need to do. Like, what is the harm? You know, I kind of did makeup here and there. Like, when I graduated high school, I did it like here and there at the salon I worked at. Never did I ever really do it full time or like freelance, even part time. So I was like, why not? You know, I have experience in it. Let's just go ahead and do it. What's it gonna hurt? This is what I want to do anyways. Like, eventually, let's just go ahead and start now. You just kind of have to like just throw yourself out there and start. So I eventually just started telling people I was going to start freelancing on the side. I was always posting pictures of my makeup anyways. I had a blog that I was doing, and I was like, why don't I just start doing it? So you just kind of have to start. Like, that's the first step. Just push yourself to start. What I did was I told a lot of the girls in the family, hey, I'm going to start freelancing. If you ever want your makeup done or anything, you know, let me use you as pretty much like an example. Like, basically, I'll do your makeup for free, but at the same time, it works out for me because number one, I have content to post online for people to find me. And then number two, I would kind of treat them as a client, like not as family, because like they're family, you know, I'm so comfortable around them. I think that's kind of like what the scary thing is if you're nervous to start makeup on people, it's like people you don't know and you're not comfortable with. I would just kind of start as like, you know, treat them as a client, just basically act like they're my client. I would just take pictures, post it online. Eventually you kind of get over that fear. Definitely first things first, you just have to do it. Like, if you want to do it, what's holding you back? You never know what it can lead you to. So that's how I started. I was still working full time, and then I was just freelancing on the side whenever I had clients or whenever anybody needed their makeup done. Eventually you get more comfortable. You start learning like what works for people's skins and what doesn't work for people's skins. So yeah, you just kind of have to like just jump in and do it. Just go all in. Like, don't be scared. Just go all in and do it. Starting off, like talking about my kit, I think a misconception kind of is that you have to have like the most expensive makeup, the best makeup, and that is not the case. I'm going to tell you right now, you don't have to have like 50 different MAC foundations. Number one, it is so expensive to start a kit. Like, it's so expensive. Realistically, if you want to like have like the best makeup, like a MAC foundation is what, $30 to $40. So imagine buying like 20 shades of MAC foundations, or imagine buying like a foundation palette, an expensive one, like not just like any cheapy one, but like say an expensive one. right there, you're dropping hundreds of dollars on just foundations. Then you have concealers, then you have powders, then, you know, it's just not realistic. So don't like go into it thinking you have to have expensive makeup, because there are tons of affordable, incredible products at that. So don't let that be like a fear of yours, because that's what I was thinking. I remember thinking like, oh my God, I don't have like all this money to spend on all these different like products for different skin tones and different undertones. You can buy affordable things and they will work just beautifully. And I use a lot of affordable stuff and they work just fine. I've had like people text me and say, hey, my makeup looks so beautiful. What did you use on me? Please tell me, because it lasted all day. My skin looks so good. I got so many compliments. So don't even go into it thinking that like, oh, I can't afford to spend $500 on 20 bottles of foundations. You don't have to. It is going to be expensive in the beginning. I did drop a lot of money up front, just being 100% honest. I had to buy new brushes. I had to buy like foundations, concealers, just things for different skin tones that I didn't have. But with that being said, I also had like a bunch of eyeshadow palettes. I didn't have to buy those. I had, you know, a bunch of lashes I didn't have to buy, and just products that I had that I didn't use, or like things that I bought and never used. So like that's another tip you could do. Like for example, I have this Makeup Forever powder right here. I bought this powder and I probably used it like 2 times, never used it again. So I'm like, why return it when I can just put it in my kit? I'm not going to go into depth about sanitization. Maybe I'll do that for another video, but I'll just touch on it very briefly, just so you guys kind of know like what to do when you're sanitizing your stuff. The first thing I want to start with is my actual case. Now, I got this on Amazon. Let me just go ahead and open it up so I can show you guys. I want to say it was fairly inexpensive. I think this was around like $30 or $40 if I'm not mistaken. And it kind of actually looks like a carry-on suitcase. So it looks just like this. And my camera takes so long to focus, so I'm going to be going in and out of focus. Hopefully it's not too bad, but it does have a strap like this, so I just carry this on my shoulder, and then when you open it up, it opens up to this, so you can see it has all these little compartments. It also has, let me turn it around, it has compartments on this side. I have like some extra sanitizers and stuff in here, but I don't really get a lot of use out of this side right here. And then on the outside, it does have another small, like little flap situation. Looks like this, and that is what that looks like. I really wanted one of those like big, like rolly cases, like the ones that kind of look like a tall suitcase. Those are so expensive. I think they're like $200 or $300. They're incredibly pricey. So don't think you have to go out and buy one of those. I bought this and this gets the job done just fine. Eventually I do want to get something bigger and a little more efficient for me, because this just, I still have to take like another bag with me, and I still have to pack like other things along. Like not everything fits in this kit, but it fits like the basics, and then like my palettes and stuff. I'll just stick them in another bag, but this gets the job done just fine. It was very affordable, like perfect for the beginning. So for foundations, what I love the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte foundations. These are absolutely amazing. They're affordable. I think they're around $12 a bottle. They're so good. I cannot stress enough how good these are. I reach for this foundation over my expensive foundations. Like, this is so good. I don't have my shade right now, so that's why I haven't been using it. Plus, I'm also using other things right now. So when I kind of finish off what I'm using, I'm going to go back to using this. This is like my perfect summer foundation, because in the summertime, I am a grease ball, and this keeps me matte, but it doesn't suck the life out of me. So this is really, really good. What I did in the beginning was I bought like every other shade. For example, I have just in front of me, I have 105, I have 107, and 110. Instead of buying 104, 105, 106, 107, I bought every other shade. And then if you're kind of in between shades or you don't have that exact shade, you can always mix and match. So just remember that. That's another tip that you can do in the beginning until you just kind of start to build. And you will start to build. Like the busier you get and the more clients you have, you will most definitely start to build. And eventually your kit will grow, because my kit, like what it is now, was nothing what it was in the beginning. I can also use them on dry skin. I know like the Pro Matte thing is kind of scary, but it's really not super matte. I'm able to use that on girls with much drier skin as long as I don't set it, and I use a very luminous primer and it lasts perfectly. The concealers that I love to put in my kit are the NYX HD concealers. These are amazingly good. They're so good. They look incredible in photographs, and they literally blend out like a dream. So I have a green one and I have a yellow one. This is what I like to use if I'm dealing with somebody who has a lot of redness in their skin. This is really good for neutralizing dark circles or brightening certain parts of the face. I like to use that for like, why was I going to say contracting? For canceling dark circles. Ugh, what is wrong with me? Anyways, I basically just did the same thing. I have the lightest shade and then I kind of skipped every other shade, and you can just kind of mix and match. And also keep in mind, if you go in and use a foundation that's too dark or too light, you can always either bronze or you can highlight and fix the situation. If you have to go in and wipe the face off, just wipe the face off, you know? A lot of times when you're honest and you're just like, hey, you know, I used the wrong shade, people are pretty typically understanding. You just have to be honest and don't be scared. Like, you know, it happens. Sometimes people make mistakes. It's really not a big deal. Actually, in the first one, I totally skipped this one. I just have my skincare. I just keep this moisturizer. It's a simple, ultra lightweight gel moisturizer. I like this one because it has a pump. It's sanitary. I don't have to like dig my hand in there and like stick my fingers in there. I did have an eye cream. I don't know where it is right now, but I just have like I think it's like the Olay CC brightening cream. And then I have that one. For my primers, I have the Becca Backlight Priming Filter Primer. This is another thing that like I bought for myself, hated it, didn't look good or work for my skin, so I stuck it in my kit. I think I only used this like 2 times. It has a pump, perfect for girls or guys who have dry skin. This works absolutely amazing. I have the Dr. Jart Porematic Pore Miniature Primer. This is actually almost out, so I need to get something new. And then for really, really oily skin, I have the Becca Evermatte Poreless Priming. So this is a really good mattifying primer. I only do this on really, really dry skin people. I have the Sephora, what is this? The Radiant Luminizing Drops. I have the shade Ultralight. This is my favorite shade. If I have somebody with really super, super dry skin, I'll mix like a drop, like a full pump actually, in with the foundation, and it makes the skin look so like pretty and radiant. So I have that. For powders, I have the Laura Mercier. This is something that I did splurge on, but I also have an affordable option in here too. This is the Laura Mercier Loose Setting Translucent Powder. This is another really good one that works for like the majority of skin types. It doesn't have any flashback. It looks really, really good in pictures. And then I also have this one I talked about earlier, the Makeup Forever Super Loose Matte Powder. So this is for really, really oily people. These are the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Contouring Palette Contour. I never even knew that it had contour in there twice, but these are like $5 a piece and they're so good. I actually have these like for myself. The lids are all broken because I overused it so much, but these are so good. Very affordable, very like good to start with. I did eventually buy the Anastasia contour kits. These are like my favorite contour kits ever. I have the light medium one. So I'm sure you guys know about this, just looks like this. And then I also have a medium to tan one for darker skin. And I still use these sometimes, it just depends, but typically I reach for these just because I like the formula of this a little bit better. But this is really, really good if you're just starting out or if you're on a budget. That's perfect to start with. I have the Laura Mercier Secret brightening powder. This is the under eye brightening powder. I have a love-hate relationship with it. It kind of depends on the skin tone. I feel like it works better for fairer people because I feel like it does kind of have a white cast. So I just don't use that too much, but I do have it in there just in case. And then I have the Rimmel Natural Bronzer. This is actually like a really nice bronzer. I like this a lot. I have the Betty Lou Luminizing Bronzer. I forgot to show you guys, I also have the Coty Airspun. This is like amazing, like so affordable. I think this is only $5 and it's so good. So if you can't afford like the Laura Mercier powder, it's a $40 powder, pick this up because this is really, really good. It's an awesome baking and setting powder. Okay, so now we can move on to brows. So I did have a pencil in here. I don't know if I ran out or if I lost it, but when I'm working on clients, I don't usually use pencils, but very occasionally I will. If I have to go in and just kind of clean up the brows and touch them up when I'm completely done, I'll sometimes go in with a pencil. So that's why I'm not too worried about it, but I do have some powders. I like to have brow powders just in case. Like I've had clients before who have their brows microbladed or they have them tattooed and I just kind of need to go and touch them up, and I like to use a powder for that. But for everybody else, I mainly stick to dip brow. But for the powders, I have the NYX Eyebrow Cake Powder. This is just a really good universal powder. There's a light one and a more dark one in there. I don't really ever use this wax, like ever, but I use these. These come in handy sometimes. Like I said, I don't really use them too much, but I have them in there just in case. And then I have this Maybelline one. You can see that I've used this a lot. This is actually like the perfect color, I feel like, for dark-haired brows. For the dip brow, I just have just a couple of shades. I don't have too many. I actually need to get a light one, but I just don't have one at the moment. But that's one I need to pick up. But I have medium brown, chocolate brown, and dark brown. I don't like to go in and do brows. Like, even if somebody has black hair, I don't like to go in with black. I just feel like it's a little too harsh. So I just get dark brown, and I kind of got everything in between. For example, dip brow has like a million different shades, but instead of buying every single one, I bought like ones where I can kind of mix and match if I have to customize color. For liners, mascaras, stuff like that, I have a waterproof mascara. This is a Maybelline one. It's the Colossal Big Shot Mascara. I like this mascara. I just feel like there's so many good drugstore options. You don't have to spend the money on an expensive one. So I have this one. Make sure you get waterproof in case you're doing like brides or weddings or stuff like that. I always make sure to have waterproof. And then I have this clear mascara. This is like actually one of my favorite clear mascaras ever. I used to use this to set my brows when I used to fill in my brows. Before Dip Brow came out, I used to use powder, and I used to use this to set my brows. I would put them on in the morning. Literally, my brows would be perfect like 10 hours later. No joke. So this is really good. Very affordable as well. And then I have a Buxom eyeliner. I have a couple of Urban Decay black eyeliners. I have two Maybelline ones, actually. This is a champagne colored one, or nude. I don't know why I said champagne. And then this is a brown one right here. I have a liquid liner. I don't really reach for liquid liner a lot just because it's kind of a pain. Like, you know, when you're doing other people's makeup, you can't like do somebody's eyeliner and then go back in and stick it in the tube, because that would be disgusting. That would be contaminating this entire thing. So I have them in there just in case, but if I do use liquid liner, I have to put it on the back of my hand and then go in with a brush, which is just a pain in the ass. I keep them in there just in case. I don't even know why, because I seriously never use them, but you never know, and I would rather be overly prepared than not prepared. So I have a NYX matte one, and then I have this Maybelline one, which is like an OG favorite of mine. I've been using it since probably high school. I have a duo glue. I actually have two. I have a clear one, and then I have a dark one. I would recommend getting this one with this type of applicator, the brush on applicator. It's a lot easier to brush on to the lashes, and I feel like this dries faster than the tube one. And the tube one smells like fish. Like, it's disgusting. It smells so bad. I hate it. I love these. I've already, like, me personally, I've been through like seriously maybe 4 of each, so I love both of those so much. I have a bunch of these little spoolies to do for mascara, anything like that. I've had clients before that I've used who have lash extensions, so after I'm done doing eyeshadow, I'll just take one of these and kind of like brush the shadow out of their lashes, or just kind of like move them around, put them in place. I use these for mascaras, for that clear brow gel. For lip products, I always have this little Vaseline, just in case somebody has really chapped lips. I like to put this on their lips beforehand. And then I have a bunch of the NYX matte liquid lips and the glosses. These are really good, and they're so pretty. I also have lip liners. I have a red and I have a nude, and that's pretty much all I stick to. I'm not like the biggest fan, as you guys know. I've mentioned many times before, I don't care for lip liner. I also don't care to use them on other people, so I just don't like them. I have those just in case. So I pretty much just stick to the basics. I have like a bunch of different nude colors, some pinky colors from NYX. I have this really pretty one. This looks good on like deeper skin. This is in the shade Amsterdam. This is Milani from NYX. It's a really pretty pink. I have a Morphe gloss that I have never used because it's too pink for me. I have some butter glosses, just like pretty much like your basic colors. Like the majority of people want a nude lip, you know what I mean? So I always make sure I am like decked with nudes. I have a bunch of ColourPop nudes. What I like to do is go in with a liquid lip, and then I like to do a gloss on top, because I feel like for somebody who's getting their makeup done and like you're not going to be there to touch up their makeup, that is like the longest lasting way to keep your makeup on. That's what I do personally, and that's what I think works best on other people. So I just like to always make sure that I have liquid lips, and then I have glosses. I don't even take lipstick with me because I just feel like it's going to like clutter up my kit, and I just feel like I don't ever reach for them. I'd rather do it with a liquid lip and then a gloss on top, or just a liquid lip if they just want a liquid lip. I do take a red and a dark purple with me just in case, because you never know. So I have Dose of Colors Kiss of Fire. I have another vampy shade. I don't know where it is right now, but I keep those just in case because you never know. I have a Lolita, a Dose of Colors Sand. I have a Bare Minerals Far Out, White Russian from Buxom, and then Fairy Floss from ColourPop. Let me just go ahead and talk about my spray. So I keep one of these little baby Mario Badescu facial sprays. I am not like the biggest believer in setting sprays. I actually don't believe in them at all. Like, I just feel like they're so gimmicky. I know people love setting sprays. I'm not a setting spray person. I don't have an issue with my makeup moving. I just am like, why even buy a setting spray? But I do like facial sprays because I like to settle powder. So I know I've mentioned before, Fix Plus breaks me out. I can't use Fix Plus. Kind of want to retry it again because I haven't used it in a couple of years. So I think I might repurchase it and try it. But I love the Mario Badescu Rose Water Spray. It is just like heaven on your skin. So I keep a baby one in my kit so I don't have to lug around the big one. And then I have this little spray bottle of alcohol. And then I also have this brush cleaner. I always make sure that I have 3 towels with me. I take a big towel. This is like a bath towel. Wherever I'm setting up my stuff, I'll lay everything out on the towel. I honestly do this so fast. I'll take my brush cleaner. This is from Sephora. This is really good. I think it's pretty affordable. I want to say this bottle is only around, it's less than $10. I know that. I'll spray this brush, clean it, and then I'll take my alcohol to further sanitize it and spray it again until the brush has like no more color coming out of it and it dries instantly. If you don't have a lot of brushes to start off with, you can always do that. It is a lot handier and more convenient, I will say, to have just multiple brushes if you're doing bigger parties. If you're doing just 1 or 2 people, it's not that big of a deal. But like for me, when I first started, I didn't have a lot of blending brushes. So I like literally only had this one brush and this was my brush. Like I would take this home, wash it, and use it on my eyes the next day. But you can totally do that if you're just starting out, you guys. You gotta make it work, okay? And then I always take 2 other towels just in case. I love the Real Techniques, their beauty sponge. So I have, I think, 2 or 3 of those. I always have multiples of those. Those are very affordable as well. I think you can buy a 2-pack for like $10. This little hand towel, I like to have this to dry out the excess. And then I also like to have another towel, like just in case, because you never know. I always keep a hand sanitizer on me. I will sanitize my hands before I start the client and start touching their face, and then I'll sanitize if I'm working on people back to back. Oops. I will just sanitize my hands in between. I have a little lash curler if somebody has really, really straight lashes. I have a little baby pair of scissors to trim my lashes. And then I have a bunch of Q-tips. Like I always make sure that I am stocked with Q-tips. I have tweezers to apply lashes. And then for lashes, I always keep a dramatic pair. I keep a pair of individuals, and then I have a more natural pair. So my favorite natural pair of lashes are these, and these are the Salon Perfect. I have the 105s, and then I have the Demi Wispies, and I took them out of the boxes because they kept getting squished. So I have these right here. Sometimes you get people who don't want a big lash, and that's totally fine. If I ever want to go in and kind of like make them a little more full, I have my individuals, and these are there's a hair on it. These are the Ardell individual lashes. So I do the Salon Perfect, the Ardells, and then my favorite, like more dramatic lash. And these, I think these are so perfect because they're dramatic, but they're not too dramatic. Like they don't make you look like you have like these like lashes flopping on your eye. These are just like the most perfect lash ever. And these are the Vegas Nay and Eylure Grand Glamour. I always have like boxes and boxes and boxes of these. I prefer to buy them when they're buy one get one half off at Ulta because I know I'm going to use them. So I always have those like no matter what. And I actually prefer to reach for those. Most people like them too. I had a client not too long ago. She told me, you know, I don't wear a lot of makeup. I don't want anything too dramatic, too heavy. And I actually showed her these lashes. I was like, are you comfortable with a lash like this? And she was like, oh, they look really dramatic. Do you have anything more natural? So of course I did. And I pulled out a natural pair. I put them on her and I was like, honestly, I don't like them. I was like, let me put these lashes on you. Tell me if you like them. I was like, I promise they look more dramatic in the box. They're really not as dramatic as they look. Let me just put them on you. If you don't like them, I'll put the other ones back on. Put these on her and she was like, she's like, I love them. They're actually perfect. So you never know. I think those are just like so perfect because they're not too much. They're like just enough, but they're full. Oh, gorgeous. face wipes. I always have these because you never know. You might have to start over. Somebody might just absolutely hate what you're doing. You might use the wrong foundation shade and you might have to start over. This little thing, this I also got on Amazon. It was a set. I'm more comfortable with working on the back of my hand, but sometimes I will use this just occasionally, but not all the time. This is just a little tray. You can use it to mix and match foundation, concealer, dip brow, whatever you need to do. I have this little spatula. I get a lot of use out of this actually. I like to use this to dig out like gel liner and dip brow and stuff like that. So I love this little thing. And I got those on Amazon. I will look for them and link them below. Those were very inexpensive. I think they were under 10 bucks. So those are perfect. Here's my sponge. I found it. It was in this bag. So this is what they look like. I'm sure everybody knows the Real Technique sponges. These are really, really good. I love them. They're super soft. Perfect. Those are the ones that I prefer to use for my kit. And then moving on to like palettes and shadows and stuff like that, I'm just like going to briefly touch on it and then we'll talk about brushes. I like to take just like my basic palettes, like pretty much my everyday colors, my neutral colors. I do always take my my Z palette. This has like every single neutral that I need. I can actually create an entire look using just this palette. Works perfectly fine, but you never know. So I always make sure to take my Modern Renaissance palette because somebody might want something more a little pinky or a little more red. I always take my Urban Decay Naked Heat palette because these are just like my tones and I can create like a beautiful, incredible look with that palette. I actually reach for that, and then this next one, the Jaclyn Hill and Morphe palette, I reach for those two pretty much mainly because they just have like the perfect shades that I need. I have pops of color in here. Somebody wants color. I take my NYX Fire palette with me and I take this just in case somebody wants like a hot, fiery, like reddish orangey eye. I have all of these in here to create that look. So it's very small and compact. It's not an issue throwing it in there because it is so small. So always take that just in case. I totally forgot to mention this when I was filming, but if you don't have a lot of shadow palettes already, or if you need to buy some more shadow palettes and don't have a big budget to start with, I would totally recommend picking up some of Morphe's shadow palettes, Coastal Scents, or BH Cosmetics. They're all really good quality and very affordable. And then I will always take a handful of glitters and a handful of pigments. So before we even start talking about that, let's talk about glitter glues because you can't apply a glitter or pigment without a glitter glue. So I take this NYX one with me and then I take a Too Faced one with me. I don't know why I take both. I think this Too Faced one is almost out and that's actually why I have that in there just in case because I like to be prepared. I have my Inglot gel liner. I actually prefer to work with gel liners. They're more sanitary. I can go in with my little spatula, kind of take it out on the back of my hand and then just work with my brush. I don't have it right now. It's actually on my vanity because I just used it, but I always take my Duraline with me just to make gel liner easier to work with, especially if you're working with for multiple people or with multiple people and you want to work a little more efficiently and a little more quickly. I don't like to fight with gel liner. I want it to just work right then and there. So I'll actually just put it in the pot, mix it up with my spatula and then scoop it out, and it just makes your liner like glide beautifully, especially if you're doing a wing, because the Inglot gel liner, although it is very good, it's very black, it's very matte, it's very long lasting, you have to work with it quickly. So I always take that just in case. I have some glitters. I always take this copper glitter with me from NYX. NYX has my favorite glitter, so I always take these with me just in case. I do a lot of 15s and then I do like a lot of younger girls for like prom, homecoming, stuff like that, and they usually almost always want glitter, so I always make sure to have glitters. I have this gold glitter. I have this trio. This is also from NYX. It has a black, a silver, and a teal. The teal is really pretty. I've actually used this on myself before. It's gorgeous. I have an Inglot one. This is in the shade 24. It's just this really pretty coppery color. I have this like kind of like a unique goldish green. This is also from Inglot. It's in the shade 122. I usually have another Inglot one with me. I must have forgotten to grab it, but it's a purple one. Just in case somebody's wearing like a purple dress or they want a purple look, I take that with me as well. It's gorgeous. And then I have this one from NYX. This is in the shade, I want to say it's called Ice Queen. Oh, it's just called Ice. It's really pretty iridescent glitter. I used this for my sister's makeup when I did her makeup for her prom. It looked stunning on the eye. It looked so beautiful. And then I take my Stila glitters with me because these are just gorgeous. Like, who doesn't love these? They're so good. I take a silver one. This one's almost out. I'm so sad because I have to rebuy it. Silver one, I have Kitten Karma, and then I have Smoldering Satin. These are just like pretty neutral, but if you want to like kick it up a notch, you have those just in case. This is the Palladio Crush Metallic Shadow. I have a bunch of these shadows, but I always only take this one with me. And I think just because it's so icy and pretty and it's so intense, it just looks beautiful on the lid. This is in the shade Stardust. I always take MAC Naked Pigment with me because this is beautiful for brides or something a little more natural where they don't want anything too dramatic. That is stunning. And then that's pretty much it for the eye stuff. I showed you guys lashes and liners and everything else. And then, got the shit all over my shirt. For blushes, highlighters, and things like that, I take this bronzer with me. This is in the shade Gold Deposit. This is really pretty. This is from MAC. It looks absolutely stunning on deeper skin tone. If you go in with a very light hand, sometimes I even like to use this as a blush topper. If you're going for like a very bronzy look, I have MAC Sunbask. This is really pretty for like a really dramatic smoky eye. This is my go-to blush if I'm doing like a black smoky eye or just working with a lot of dark colors. This doesn't wash out the skin. I always take Lovejoy with me from MAC. And then I always take Warm Soul because those are like the two best blushes in the whole wide world. Let's just be real. And then I have this Makeup Revolution matte blush. I actually bought this. This is another thing I bought for myself. It's a very good formula. I like it. It's very long lasting, but it's just not my tone. So I throw it in my kit and then I have a matte blush. And then I take this palette with me. This is the Jaclyn Hill and Becca face palette. I bought this again for myself when it came out. I really like Prosecco Pop. But I don't know, I never find myself reaching for it. And I have Champagne Pop. I have it in the single, so I don't know. But the blushes I never ever use, except I will occasionally use this one. Honestly, I just think that I forget about it, and that's why I don't use it. So I just put it in my kit. Like, why not? I might as well. I'm going to use it more in my kit than I am on myself. So I have a coral blush right here. I have a more rosy bronze shade. This is more of a matte shade. And then I have this bright pink one if anybody wants a pink. I have two really pretty highlighters. I actually love mixing these two together if you have that palette. They look really nice mixed together. And then I have my Nicole and Anastasia highlighting palette. I always take this with me. And ignore this one. It broke. I think it broke actually when I was doing somebody's makeup. I like opened it up and it was completely shattered. So I had to kind of fix it with like the alcohol trick and pressing it back. These are my two favorite highlights right here. This highlight looks stunning on really, really fair, like porcelain girls. Beautiful. This is also really pretty as an inner corner highlight. And then these three up here, I like to use for blush toppers. I always have my glow kit. This is by Anastasia. I use this strictly for my kit. I don't even use this on myself. This is in the shade, I think this is That Glow. Yeah, this is That Glow. So these are really pretty. These are like those highlights that where it just looks like your skin is beaming and there's nothing on it. They're very pretty. I actually took this one out. This is like a really yellow one that I didn't like it whatsoever, but my grandma loves this shade. I actually got her one of these for Christmas, I think last Christmas, and she like went through just this one. If you guys have this kit, you know what I'm talking about. It's like that really yellowy gold. I don't think I ever used it. It just wasn't my tone and I didn't like to use it on people, but it's in the shade Sunburst. So I like this though because these pans are removable. So yeah, I just took that one out and gave it to her. And then those are my highlights. And oh, let's talk about brushes. That's the last thing we need to talk about. This I got from Amazon. It just has like all these spaces for brushes. It's empty right now because I took the brushes out to clean them and didn't put them back in yet. And then some of them are like my personal brushes, so I have to clean them before I stick them back in here. But to be honest, I don't know. It was pretty affordable. I want to say it was also under $10, but I think just the concept of this, like I'll take this and lay it out. I mean, I use it to store my brushes, but I kind of wish instead of getting something like this, I got like those like those hard cases, like the big ones where you throw your brushes in for travel. This is just kind of a pain in the ass. And then like when I do fill this up, when I'm like packing my stuff up for whoever I'm working on like the day before, I find that I'll run out of room because the holes are different sizes. Sometimes I'll still have big brushes, but they don't fit like in the middle because this hole isn't big enough for the barrel of the brush. Like, really, Sarah? That is so sexual. I'll probably end up just getting the like hard containers that you can throw brushes in from like BH Cosmetics. I know they sell them. I know Morphe sells them. So probably going to end up doing that and then just have one for my face brushes, etc., etc. I'll just kind of go in order of face. I don't use a lot of expensive brushes. I do use more affordable brushes and I'm comfortable with them. So that's what I use in my kit. I just bought doubles. Brushes are so expensive, and when you have to buy like 20 of them, I mean, that's a lot of money, okay? So I kind of combed through my brushes and took out the brushes that I never saw myself reaching for, washed them, and put them in my kit. So I have another bronzer brush. This is from EcoTools. I like to use this to bronze the face. It's one of my favorite ones. I've been honestly using it like this bronzer brush, not this specific one, but this type of brush since probably high school. I have a Sonia Kashuk number 130 brush. This is a powder brush. I also have one for my personal self because I love it. I have this brush right here. This is from e.l.f. It's an ultimate blending brush. I use this for more like detailed work for powder, so I like that. I have a Morphe brush. This is what I like to use for contour. This is the G20. I have another one of the e.l.f. blush brushes. This is what I like to use to set the under eyes, and then I'll dust away bake with this. I have this one from Sigma. Oh no, this is also from Morphe. This is a M178. I thought this was from Sigma for some reason. I use this sometimes like for down here to clean up contour. I don't find myself reaching for this a lot, but I have it in there just because I don't use it myself. I have a Sigma large shader brush. I like to go in and apply concealer with this and then blend it out with a beauty blender. And then I have an eyeliner brush, some pencil brushes, but mostly to start, like when you're really starting your kit, think about what you use on yourself. Oh, I forgot to show you guys this one. I also have this. This is an EcoTools blush brush. This brush is really, really good. So affordable. I have this Morphe fan brush. I actually need to replace this brush with something else. Every time I wash it, it just gets like more spread out. Driving me crazy, but I haven't repurchased another one yet, so I'm still using that for the moment. It still works. It's just annoying that I did that. I have this stippling brush. This is another EcoTools brush. I like to use this kind of brush to go in and like kind of mesh everything together like you guys see me do in my videos. I do the same thing on my peeps that I'm working on. Pretty much just like when I thought about it, I just went in the order of face. I have a sponge to apply foundation, concealer, and bake. That's like basically 3 tools in one. I made sure that I had a powder brush, a brush to set the under eyes with, a highlight brush, and a blush brush, and that's pretty much all you need to start with, because in the beginning you might not have the money to buy a bunch of different brushes. Yeah, of course it is the dream to be able to buy everything that you can, but that's just not realistic in the beginning. And like I said, eventually you build your kit over time. So moving on to eyes, this is my personal Sigma brush. I still take this with me. It's my favorite blending brush, honestly. I can't get away from it. So this is a really good affordable set if you want to start off with. It's the vegan BH Cosmetics brush kit. It comes with a big fluffy brush to go in and lay down your transition. And then it comes with a more detailed brush. This one is a little tiny. I would recommend you get something a little more fluffy, like the Sigma E25, if you want to go in and build up that color in the crease. I would recommend you get that on its own because this set doesn't come with that. But this is perfect for going in and doing like detail work in the crease if you want to do a little bit more. It has a brush to smoke out the lower lash line, this one right here. This would be good for the Morphe, the flat brush that I always use to add definition to the lower lash line. This one honestly acts the same exact way, except it's a little more rounded on the side, so you could go in and do that. It comes with a lid brush, so you could go in and pack color on the lid. If you're just starting out, like it pretty much comes with every eye brush that you would need, except it doesn't come with an inner corner brush. So that's where you can kind of go in and like fine tune the tools that you need. So like for example, you guys know I love the EcoTools, this little detailed brush from EcoTools. I've been using this brush for as long as I can remember. I use this just to pop in my inner corner. This brush by itself is probably like $5 or maybe even less than that. And you can probably buy this in an EcoTools set for like under $10. So basically, like, you know, just keep in mind your kit will grow as you grow. So here and there, you'll find what works for people, what doesn't work, what you need to add, what you can take out. So, you know, that will work. I will say you will need a liner brush because most people do like liner. And for that, I have a Morphe one that I have in here. This is a really good affordable one, Sonia Kashuk. And then this is really good one. This is also from Sonia Kashuk. So Just things like that. If you want to go in and kind of clean up the brows, this one is really good for doing that. This is a Morphe M421. This is like a $5 brush, so also very affordable. I like to use this brush sometimes to kind of pack on color on the outer V. This is an Eco Tools brush. I've had it for so long the number wore off, but I'm pretty sure this is in a set. You can go in and do that. So in the beginning, don't stress too much about having every single kind of brush. If you can afford it, go ahead and do it. Like if you know what you need and you know like to do something more dramatic, you want this, or you know you want like this brush to do this, go ahead and do it. If you can afford it and this is your passion and you're gonna stick with it, spend the money on it. I would say in the beginning, if you're kind of strapped for cash or you don't have a lot of money to invest, but you wanna start, I would say make sure you have one fluffy brush for transition, one more crease brush to go in there and define the crease if you want. Have a little detailed brush to do a little bit of detailed work. Also for a brush like this to go in and define the crease, you can also use this to pack on color on the outer V. So just remember that. And then make sure you have something for inner corner, something to maybe clean up brows, something for the lower lash line. I would say you could do like a more stiff brush like this. And then you can also use your little detail brush to smoke out the lower lash line. And then a lid brush, you'd want a lid brush, and then a brow brush. And then just your basic face brushes, and your kit will grow as you grow. The last thing I have is clips. Make sure you have clips, especially if you're doing like a wedding, or I've had girls that I've done like for their 15 or birthday, sweet 16, whatever, they go and get their hair done first, and then I have to do their face. So I just have these little hair clips. I have a million of them from when I used to work at the salon. Just clip them back out of their face. It doesn't mess up their hair, and you are good to go. Let me do this without messing up my hair. Ow. So I think I touched on everything. If I forgot something or if I didn't mention something, please let me know below and I will be happy to address it. If you guys are like just beginning, or you want to start freelancing, or you are having trouble building your kit, or you don't know where to start, just let me know and I will be more than happy to do more videos like this. Because let me tell you, I watched a lot of videos in the beginning. Like I probably watched like 20 videos on how to start my kit, and I still like went in kind of blind. Like I remember I made a list on my phone of what I needed, and it was just very overwhelming. So whatever can make things easier for you guys. If you need any inspiration, or you want me to do any other type of like makeup artist related video, or like any video in general, just let me know and I will totally be so happy to do it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Again, let me know if I missed anything. I hope I got everything. I kind of have a mess in front of me, so hopefully I didn't forget anything. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. When you take the time to watch my videos, leave me a comment below. Let me know what you want to see. Talk to me, because I love to talk to you guys. Every time I get on my laptop and I see I have a notification from YouTube, I'm like, ah, my YouTube friends, and I like start typing right away. Like I'm so excited. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.